welcome to the Dream Journal. From the studios of KSQD in Santa Cruz, the Dream Journal is a weekly show where we explore the healing powers of your nighttime dreams through conversations with dream experts and with you.
So there's now those vital minutes, time is keenly found.
In the words of Carl Jung, who looks outside dreams, who looks inside awakens. Today's music is called Quietorium. Instead of puzzling over the meaning of your dreams, bring them to life with a Natural Dreamwork. Our guest today is Rodger Kamenetz. I am your host, Katherine Bell of Experiential Dreamwork, and welcome to the Dream Journal. The Dream Journal is also a weekly podcast. Please subscribe, rate, and review, but most importantly, tell your friends. My whole mission on the show is to get people talking about dreams, and that's one way you can talk about dreams. Hey, I've been listening to this podcast about dreams. Are you interested in dreams? Oh, hey, I didn't know that. Maybe you'll discover some dream community you didn't even know you had so close to you. Archives are also available at ksqd.org/the-dream-journal, plus on every major podcast platform. So, starting with my personal dream work. Packing for a flight. This is a familiar theme. Packing to come home from Hawaii or something like that. And it's fairly calm, which is kind of new for me, actually. Listeners will know that I tend to struggle with being in a hurry, which is one reason I do the stream check-ins, to help me slow down. So it's fairly slow, but then this young girl, like 8, 9, 10, starts leaning over in front of me, looking into my suitcase and showing me things. And I realized, oh my God, she needs to be packed too. And it's my responsibility to get her packed up. And I'm like, uh-oh. Then all my calm goes out the window and I'm like frantically packing for her and for me. So this morning, getting in the car, where's my phone? And so I spend like 3 minutes looking for my phone. Guess what? I had it all along. So for me, this ties in with the dream. Like, is there some way I have this girl? This girl is with me. And I think I have to do something about it. I think I have to go find it, go help her pack, go do something. And actually, she's right here. And why not just like be here with her? So anyway, that's how I'm mulling over that. That's how I'm feeling to that moment. Okay, Rodger Kamenetz is the author of 15 books of poetry and prose. His book, Jew in the Lotus, is an international bestseller. He is Professor Emeritus at LSU, where he founded the MFA program in creative writing and the Jewish Studies minor. He is the founder of Natural Dreamwork, an international group of 20 dreamwork practitioners who approach the dream as a natural resource for healing and spiritual growth. The history of last night's dream was featured on Oprah Winfrey's Soul series. The Natural Dreamwork approach is to avoid interpretation and focus instead on bringing to life rich moments of feeling in dreams that arise in sacred encounters. You can find Rodger at Kamenetz.com. That's Kamenetz.com. Okay. Hello, Rodger.
Hey, how are you doing, Katherine?
Good. Thanks for coming on the show. I will just say that Rodger wrote book, The History of Last Night's Dream, is one of the ways that really got me started with in-depth dream work. And I've been quite a few classes with the Natural Dreamwork practitioners, and I find it to be a really powerful approach. And I'd like to say, like, let's just start right off with the natural dream. Like, what is new and exciting about the natural dream for you these days?
Well, lately, I've really gotten interested in how to integrate a spiritual practice with the dream work in ways that help people work. One of the big issues for us is that in between times, as you work with your images like you were doing just now so beautifully, some people kind of slack off, or they say, gee, it's not as exciting as it was when we did the session. So I'm trying to create a deeper practice of contemplation of images. I've been borrowing from different traditions, including, Hindu, Catholic, Jewish, to think about how we might work with the images in our dreams and with the images in our hearts.
Right, because that's one of the main highlights of the natural dream work is bringing the dreams to life rather than trying to figure out, solve them as if there was a puzzle.
Right.
Instead, to treat them as an experience and go deeper into the experience. And so I love that you're drawing on these religious traditions that are already well established and as ways of helping people focus and connect with the divine.
Right. So, one of the things I've written somewhere is that, let's say you're out there, in Santa Cruz or nearby, and you go into a redwood forest and you're just gazing up, into the canopy, and the duff is at your feet. And you're just having this whole wonderful experience. And then somebody comes up to you and says, well, what does it mean? and that, so I think the images in life, we never would do that. We would just experience them and say, well, I could write a novel here or write a poem or draw an image for you, but I can't really just say, it means X, Y, Z. And I feel the images in our dreams are like that as well. They're really no different. When you think about it, Katherine, and I know you've worked with this so deep with yourself, that really everything we experience, which either, we might call it memory, we might call it dream, we might call it perception, but ultimately they're all images in our minds. Mm-hmm. That's where we actually experience them. So can we get a friendlier relationship to that?
I love that. And, so often the images are evocative of feelings, and bringing the feeling together with the images really brings it to life. Like that's what you're talking about, looking up at a redwood tree or being in the forest, and that has a very precise feeling tone compared to rushing to pack a suitcase like I was doing at one moment in the dream, or got the grocery store. Like those are moments too, but there's kind of an absence of feeling in those moments. Does that kind of make sense to you, or am I?
It does. I mean, I think also that the girl is holding that for you, this place that you are. I would say it that way. She's there. You're just, in that moment, you're just outside of her, and therefore you're paying attention to the suitcase. But
right.
when you are her, and I'm sure you are many times, then there's no suitcase.
Right, right, exactly. No, it's just the being present. I want to ask you a little bit more about your idea about the spiritual approach. Like, how would you use these kind of traditional religious approaches in combination with dream work? I wonder if you have been thinking about that.
I'd be happy to share that.
Great.
I have to say, I'm doing this for your shit. I haven't really gone on blast with this yet, because I really wanted, first of all, I didn't want to be a hypocrite. I wanted to work it for a long time myself. I've been working this since for a few months now, since June. And then some of my clients and students are working with it. But basically this. So it's a morning practice, and you kind of sit and, calm yourself down with whatever techniques you have for, focusing. Mm-hmm. And then the simple thing is to count your blessings. Yeah. And by that I mean bring to mind and truly visualize moments from the past day where you felt connection, joy, beauty, moments that you're grateful for. And you kind of move through them. You bring up one. It could be, in my case, the face of Boaz, who's my new grandson. I just bring him up and immediately, boom, so much joy. And then it could be another person, my beloved, or it could be an insect I saw. I'm really nutty about bugs these days. Whatever it is, and you really just visualize it as best you can and feel it, just like you're suggesting, to feel it, and then move on to the next. So having done 3 or 4 of those, counting your blessings, you're kind of in a gratitude place. Mm-hmm. And that's when we bring in the images from homework, or we call homework, the work dreams you're working with, and certainly the specific moments of encounter. Right. So we would choose dreams where say you, like in the case of the dream you cited, let's say you had a different dream where you're really with the girl, or you're with one of the archetypal figures and you're really feeling connected. I could share one of my own, but the point is basically to feel those moments with the same spirit that you just felt the moments from waking life memory.
Okay, well,
and after you do,
yeah. Oh, I was just gonna, like, for the dream that I shared, really the moment when I know I'm going home, like even before I start dealing with the suitcase,
right.
like that could be it's not particularly relational. There's no other person there, but there is a sense of going home, which is kind of a sacred feeling.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So of course, generally try, in this practice to look for the moments we're grateful for, and the ones of connection, either with the soul or with an archetype, or it could be with a thing. It could be with just a very beautiful moment with some kind. It could be a terrifying moment. I'm grateful for all of them as long as they're real, true, and strong. Mm-hmm. But so I just want to finish up. So after doing those, then I do a more of a general gratitude prayer. In my case, it would be from the Jewish tradition, but it's basically just saying, hey, thank you for letting me wake up this morning, and I appreciate the faith in me. That's the gist of it. And then I go about my day. So that's it in a nutshell. I'd be happy to share if anybody wanted to check in with me about it, but that's the basic. I call it a protocol.
Yeah, right. I love it. No, that's really powerful, because, like, how do you get to the place of being able to let in some of the blessings and to tie it in? I imagine you could tie it in also with any meditation practice or any other grounding practice that you're accustomed to doing. So it's something that you can really integrate with what you're already doing, which is fabulous.
Right. I mean, I think one of our questions is with dream work is that we have all sorts of encounters with things or with persons or sometimes with other kinds of beings, and how can we meet them with a certain openness and really feel them, as opposed to what we often do so often in life and in dreams, which is to turn away, not recognize, and so forth. And I think this gratitude practice for me, and because really helps me into my day, and really helps me remember my dreams, and helps me orient me towards, well, we should be grateful that we have these capacities to imagine such incredible moments, which we do in our dream life. I feel grateful for it.
Yeah. Right. No, I think that is that's wonderful. You mentioned the more difficult dreams, and I wonder if you have any suggestions about that, because gratitude is wonderful when it's a wonderful feeling, but then sometimes there isn't really, and I'm kind of like doing a kind of treasure hunt practice where I'm looking for those good moments, but sometimes the really bad moments are compelling, and you even mentioned that sometimes the frightening moments can be part of our practice, can be part of that dream homework. I wonder if you could say a little more about working with those moments.
Yeah, I really think it's very important to be open to feeling the pain in our dreams and the terror in our dreams. And it's a little bit more unusual, but sometimes to be open to feeling the disgust in our dreams. Any really strong moment of feeling for me is an object of contemplation and gratitude. I am grateful for the terror because it awakens me to a deeper sense of myself and really where I am. But I know it sounds a little breezy to say that. I don't want to say that too lightly, because I understand that we have experiences and dreams that are hard, but that's partly why I try to bring in the gratitude practice first as kind of a ramp, a runway to the maybe the tougher ones. I could share a dream if you like. I don't know.
Oh, please.
Part of it.
No, that'd be wonderful.
So,
thank you.
Oh, okay. So I have a dream where I'm walking on a bridge, and this basically I call him a bum. I don't know if that's fair, but he's a disheveled, bearded man of a certain age, and he stops me and says, "Where are you from?" And of course I answer, since I'm in my waking life mind, "New Orleans."
Right.
Okay, so his response to that is to go to the edge of this bridge and start kind of leaning over, and I'm looking down. It's just, it's like a gulf. I mean, it's so deep down there. There's a small river down there, and it just, it must be hundreds and hundreds of feet down.
Oh, wow.
Oh, boy. And then he starts to climb over, and then he just drops.
Ooh.
And I'm just looking to see if there's a splash or something, and I just realized, he's gone. There's nothing I can do. It's so far away, and that's the dream. And it's adjacent to terror. I mean, I'm not the guy going down, but it's still pretty terrifying.
Yeah.
Witness. And a wonder too. So the way I understand it, that I try to get into the feeling of climbing over myself and looking down. I'm not quite ready to make that leap, but that's the answer to the real answer to the question: where are you from? Where are we all from? We're all from this incredible depth, and it's terrifying. And we're all from. I mean, you can read it so many different ways. That's the thing about interpretation. I'm not against it. In fact, as we work with it, we might have different meanings there. But first experience it. First feel it. Mm-hmm. Feel it for a long, long time. And then you can let the mind in to make a few notes. I'm not against the mind. I just want to bring it in through the rear,
right.
At the rear of this, not right at the beginning.
Well, I think so often in our life, certainly in my life, the mind is forefront for so much of my day that it can take a backseat occasionally. That would be great.
Yeah. Well, that's what I think our work here is, and I think you're bringing people's attention to that, the work you're doing, and I think it's so valuable to kind of spread the word. Hey, look, you're having this whole other life inside, and it's really valuable.
Yeah. So, Rodger, I want to ask a little bit about how you got into this field. I mean, you were a professor at Louisiana State, and you're Jewish studies, and you're a poet, very prolific poet, and author as well. What is it that spoke to you about dreams? How did you get started?
Oh, wow. It's when you look forward in your life, it makes no sense. When you look backwards, it makes more sense. I think Kierkegaard said life is lived forward and understood backwards. Oh. So I guess your question is prompting that. I was always, fascinated with dreams when I was a kid, and briefly in college I was experimenting with dreams, and I thought they would help me write poems. So I had a kind of utilitarian attitude, and the dreams answered back by terrifying me.
Oh, right.
They started getting lucid. I guess they're saying, you're trying to control your dreams? All right, we'll let you have some lucid dreams. And so I had some terrifying dreams, like driving cars into the wrong lane of traffic on purpose because I had the will to do that. And that just scared the crap out of me.
Yeah, really.
So I kind of dropped that, but always was interested. And then really after, part of it is my daughter, Kezia Vida, who had a high school project on dreams, so I started reading everything.
Oh, interesting.
And then after the Jew and the Lotus, when I met the Tibetans, who were really one of the peoples of the dream, along with the Jews, who were also, I think, peoples of the dream because of Joseph and Jacob and Daniel and all these stories. I wanted to find out, what was there in dreams. I saw what the Tibetans were doing, and I thought, well, what's the Jewish thing? So I met a wonderful teacher in Jerusalem named Colette who did visualizations, and she was a kind of kitchen Kabbalist. She was an amazing person, Colette Abouker Muscat. People can check her out. And then I met Mark.
She's still active? She's still teaching? And
oh, no, she's passed. She was quite old when I met her in 1995, and she's moved on.
So if I check her out, you mean look at her history, her books, and
yeah. That's right. Okay. Yeah. Then I met someone Mark Bregman, and started working with him, and he was an amazing teacher. I mean, he really opened the whole thing up, and we were a good fit in a way because we were so different. I'm very verbal and pretty precise and articulate, and he's got his own way with language that's actually very interesting, But I learned a lot from him, And I apprenticed with him for a number of years, and then later I moved on and kind of developed, based a lot on his work, but kind of developed it in some different directions since. So that's kind of the whole. That's the story.
Okay. Well, but tell me now about the Natural Dreamwork, because this is something that you've created of your own with 20 practitioners and classes and practitioner training and. I also want to just say Mary Jo Hyen, one of your beloved colleagues who passed away recently, who was also on this show, and someone who I always really loved to interact with. And she helped you, was part of the founding of that. So I wonder if you'd talk a little bit about Natural Dreamwork.
Oh yeah, I'm not. I'm certainly not the whole orchestra for sure. And it really has been a tremendous collaboration with people, like Mary Jo was, she started as a client. She always knew she wanted to work with dreams at a certain point in her life after she retired, and she heard me on some show, I think Shrink Wrap Radio, and oh man, we connected, and what a journey, She's so, she brought the work to such a high level of practice, and then she brought it out into hospice work and published in a medical journal, medical journal. So, wow, and great teacher in her own community in Estes Park, Colorado. So, gosh, I miss her. She just had a birthday recently, so wish her a happy birthday.
Yeah, happy birthday, Mary Jo.
and she's been appearing in my dreams as a colleague and teacher now. So, I just feel I'm still connected with her. But a number of people, my daughter, Kezia Vita, Karen Vishny, Laura Smith-Riva, and just so many amazing teachers have emerged through our working together.
Well, all those folks have been on the show already, I must say, and you're kind of one of the last holdouts, Rodger.
Oh, okay.
Well, glad you
I'm in the caboose.
The caboose, that's it.
Yeah, I'm glad to be holding up to the end there.
That's good.
Yeah, so it's just a great group, and we get along well, and we've worked hard together, and people have developed their own client practices and group practices, and it continues to evolve. I would say that one thing we've done well, I think, is to distribute leadership and allow people an opportunity to develop on their own, and we're pretty open about that. And I think we have a pretty good website, thenaturaldream.com, that Mary Jo was really I was the first editor, technically, but she was really the one who brought it up and made it terrific. Mm-hmm. So, and now Marion Gay is editing it. It's very beautiful, I think. Terrific library of essays and interviews and all kinds of things on there. So
it was a wonderful resource. And classes, of course, you have classes and mentoring.
Yes, we have a program. What we say is that, first of all, people come as clients, and they have to do the work and continue to do the work to work with others. We all do that.
Yep.
So that's one piece. And then, if someone wants to, after a while, they work as a client and they meet certain benchmarks that we have, then they can begin to do one-on-one training with a mentor. And then they can graduate and practice without a mentor. So that's kind of our program in short.
Okay, that sounds fabulous. So I think I want to go ahead and open up the phones. Let's see if we get some callers who want to explore a dream or ask questions. This is a fascinating combination. Rodger, thank you so much. This is Rodger Kamenetz. You're listening to The Dream Journal. My name is Katherine Bell, and we are broadcast live from KSQD in Santa Cruz. Okay, this is the Dream Journal, and the phones are now open. I bet you'd like that number, huh? 831-900-5773. You're welcome to give us a call. And you can also send an email to onair@ksqd.org. That phone number again is 831-900-5773. 5773. Eric Nelson is standing by to take your call. So this is the Dream Journal. My name is Katherine Bell. Our guest today is Rodger Kamenetz of the Natural Dream. And we are talking about experiencing your dreams and bringing them to life rather than interpreting them, or at least first and primarily. Because I would say, in my experience, Rodger, interpretations change over time, and that as I experience a dream and carry it with me, my understanding of it may change, but the feeling of it only deepens. The feeling of it is always the thing that it's like a touchstone. That's what I can tune into.
Absolutely agree with you. And in fact, this practice I was mentioning, that it always, after I have the experiences and the feelings, then I do a few notes, and sometimes they include interpretations or just things that deepen the experience. But yeah, I'm with you.
Yeah. Right. So, there's something that I've heard you say before, which I think is fabulous, is a dream is a poem disguised as a story. I wonder if you'd like to say a little bit about that and what that means to you. I mean, you're a poet, of course.
Sure. I think part of it is that we're so in our experience of dreams, because of our outward training, we're so wrapped up with the idea of a dream has to be a story. And of course, then people say, "Yeah, I had a dream, but it was a weird story, a bizarre story." Well, it's only bizarre or weird because we're imposing this narrative expectation on the dream. Where I look at it, it's like this. A dream is a series of pearls. A narrative is just like the string you stick to connect the pearls. But if we remove the string and go from moment to moment, then we see that each moment of encounter, especially sacred, is full of feeling. So this is what I mean. You could say that a dream is a series of poetic moments full of deep feeling rather than a linear narrative. So instead of time going, from in the beginning to the end, it's more like, no, there's places in dreams where time stops and deepens. And that's why that little, I guess I unpacked it, but that's sort of what I mean by saying a dream is a poem disguised as a story.
So I want to understand the metaphor of the necklace. So the strings are the story, and the pearls are the moments in the story. Is that
exactly?
Yeah. Okay.
And we usually, I think, as we're waking, or sometimes the dream point of view, the dream ego in the dream, will add interpretations. Well, that turn it into a story. So, for instance, like the one I cited, the guy says, "Where are you from?" And I respond at a certain level by saying New Orleans,
right.
Which is correct. But then his response to me is to jump off the bridge. So that's his answer to me. So it's not a linear story, but it's a series of moments that are connected. And he's correcting me. He's saying, "Yeah, you're not from New Orleans, buddy. This is where you're from." So, and he shows me rather than says it, because I learn better that way.
Well, we are very visual creatures, we humans.
Sure are.
We have somebody on the phone, name of Kat. I wonder if
okay.
you'd like to say hello. Hi, Kat.
Hey, Kat.
Ah, great.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes, can hear you just fine. Where are you calling from, Kat?
I'm in Wilmington, Delaware.
Oh, fabulous. Well, thanks so much for being a listener, and thanks for calling. Do you have a dream moment to share or a question for me or Rodger?
I had a dream I wanted to share, and I just wanted to say I really love the Dream Journal, Katherine. I listen to it every week.
Oh, thank you.
Wonderful. And I love what you were saying just now about the poetic moments. It's really cool. And, I have this dream. It's, I find myself trying to interpret it, and so I think I might need some help here to maybe change that a little bit or feel into it. So do you want me to just tell you the dream?
Does that sound good, Rodger?
I'm all for it.
Okay. Go ahead, Kat. Thank you.
I'm all for it.
Excellent.
Yeah.
It's pretty short. So it starts off, I'm in this large auditorium with a bunch of other people, and I'm holding a baby. So, and I think some other people have babies too, but not really focusing on them. I'm focusing on the baby that I'm holding, that she has, feels like a girl baby, and she has a very skinny, long neck, like really long. like a tube, maybe like, gosh, maybe even a foot long.
Wow.
And I think about how she's deformed. And it kind of creeps me out, honestly. But then I just keep holding her, and eventually she like transforms, and she has a normal neck. And it happens so fast. And I'm just like, whoa, this is really crazy. What is happening here? It just felt really amazing that she transformed like that, and I felt really, I guess, very happy and joyful that she was in this new way. And then the last part is I get the thought that my daughter is somewhere nearby and is somehow part of this, but it's more just like a thought. So yeah, that's the dream. That was pretty weird.
Thank you.
That's not no, it's not weird. We're just it's only weird because we have these expectations. But wow, that's a great dream. So I think it's beautiful that you have these two moments. I mean, we were just talking. Katherine and I were talking about this pearl thing. So the first moment, you're with the baby. We can talk about this whole situation but just from now, I'd focus on these two, like holding the baby, and then somehow you're noticing the neck, and the neck starts to seem abnormal to. I mean, can you go back to that moment? I mean, what is that like for you?
It's really hard.
Well,
it's. I mean, I've been contemplating that image and that feeling of this baby with this long neck, and it's just it's very difficult.
How would you? Where do you feel that when you're feeling it? How are you experiencing that in your body, and how are you experiencing it? You know, just what is that like for you? Just stay. Could you stay with it just a moment? I know it's hard, but what comes up there?
Oh, wow. I almost actually feel it kind of in my chest and up into my neck, like a tightness.
Tightness.
Right.
Okay. So
in this moment, that's what I feel, a little bit of a tightness. But I think when I was having the dream, there was almost like a sick feeling when I saw the neck.
Like nauseated or?
Yeah. A little bit like that. But right now I'm not feeling that as much, but more like a tightness in my upper chest and neck.
So that sick feeling that you mentioned, because I think that was stronger in the dream, it's interesting, you know, how I think when we see people, you know, unfortunately we kind of see people, and if they're having a physical difficulty, there's kind of a gut level response that we can't really always control, even though it's not very nice, and you're feeling that, right? And it's very hard, and especially because it's your baby. You know, there's a sense of that it's your baby.
Yeah, there is a sense.
Yeah. Okay.
A sense that it's somehow connected to me.
So something's happening here, because obviously the second big moment is when the baby is almost responding to the depth of feeling there, which I don't even want to put a name on it, but it's some mixture of horror and pain and maybe aversion. And yet something happens, which is so wonderful. And so let's talk about that. I know where you start, and I know where you got to, which is joy, and somehow the baby shifting and changing its nature to become more beautiful in your eyes, and then you feel joy and relief, I guess.
Yeah.
Is that true?
Exactly. Yes, exactly, yes.
So how wonderful you were able to make that move, you know, that you developed this capacity not to get stuck on the aversion, but to move through it. It's a real feeling, I think, the aversion. I think it's a real feeling, and you move through it. And so what a beautiful thing. So this is where I feel like in a dream, when we have these encounters with, you know, sort of extraordinary beings who, you know, we can talk talk about what we think they are, but in any case, that are so heart-opening, generally, babies, right?
Yeah, right.
But you met the baby initially with a kind of distance, like a heart-closing moment almost, and separation, and then you shifted, and the baby kind of shows you the shift. The shift in your heart is the shift in the appearance of the baby. It's like a magical thing in a way, but it's also true that when we look for the beauty in every person and every moment, the moments become more beautiful. And this is a beautiful capacity that each of us has. So when we meet someone that we initially react to and have aversion, what if we could look for the one good thing, the one beautiful thing, and focus more on that? Then we would see them differently. And your dream really exemplifies that, a very powerful spiritual teaching. That let's look for the good. Let's not go around the world judging everything, but let's pull back from that and just feel. We can feel the whatever that was, aversion, I call it. Yeah, that's real, so we feel it, but then we don't have to get stuck with that. And that's what you did. You didn't do it consciously, I guess. I don't know.
No.
Do you know how you got from point A to point B?
No, I don't. It just it seemed kind of magical, honestly.
Can I jump in?
Mm-hmm. Sure.
Yeah. If this were my dream, I'd be thinking about the fact that I stayed with that baby. I felt really uncomfortable. I mean, it's a freak. I mean, it would be like kind of a horrifying, but I don't throw this baby away from me. I stay with even that uncomfortable feeling, and then and it transforms. And so there's something, for me, I would be thinking about those uncomfortable moments in waking life that if I stay with it, and I don't pretend it's not uncomfortable, it's still uncomfortable, but I'm staying present with it, and then it transforms, and I can find those joyful moments and look for those, as Rodger's saying.
Oh, yeah. No, I love that. And it makes me think about just like a meditation practice I was doing this morning, and I just felt so uncomfortable. I just wanted to stop. But I just, kept sitting there, and it did shift. When I feel into that kind of uncomfortable feeling of it wanting to change, but then it did change.
by your staying with it, your presence or something.
Right.
Yeah, right. And I think also the piece, Katherine was mentioning about that's a freak. I mean, as soon as we name the thing, it kind of solidifies into a thing. And as we unname it, I've really tried to learn the beauty of unnaming. Can we see things in people and just let all the names drop away, all the opinions, all the history, all the past, and just see them in that moment. And that's the poetic moment, right? That's the haiku moment, you might say, where you actually see it again.
Right.
But somehow you did it. Now, that's the thing I would just urge you to investigate as you remount the dream, bring the dream to life, to look at really what happened there. I mean, Catherine's right. Yeah. I mean, number one is you have to stay with it. Yeah. But there's something else going on that I don't know what it is, but there's something that enabled that.
Yeah.
Thank you, Kat. This is beautiful.
Well, you're welcome. Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Thanks, Kat, for calling in all the way from Delaware. Really appreciate it.
Yeah. All right.
Okay.
Thanks so much.
Take care. And thanks so much for being a regular listener and for calling in.
Absolutely. Take care.
Bye.
Bye.
So I do want to say we have about 10 more minutes, 11 more minutes. If somebody else wants to call, we can take another caller. Otherwise, we'll just keep chatting. That number is 831-900-5773, 831-900-5773. So, Rodger, there's something about hearing that dream, like hearing it transform as we explored the dream together was really beautiful for me. Even staying with the awkwardness of the dream and then feeling the resolution.
Right.
Yeah.
So this is, I think it illustrates what we were talking about earlier, moving from pearl to pearl, even though the first moment doesn't sound like a pearl, but it is a pearl. There's something in it for us. And as you said, if we can just stay with it and not make a judgment about it, like that's a bad thing.
Yeah.
No, it's not. No.
It's just a thing.
It's a beautiful, it's potentially, it's just a powerful thing. And, we didn't get a chance much to talk about this, but one of the phrases I use a lot is a sacred encounter, which actually came from the poet W.H. Auden. And the idea is that in the primary imagination, we can enter into a sacred encounter either with a thing, a puzzling image sometimes, or with a person, a presence. In this case, with Kat's dream, it was the baby. And it can only become a sacred encounter if we remain open to it. And then it does. And I noticed that she moved from, let's say, aversion or disgust, judgment, to wonder. And wonder is really, for me, the sign. And that's what Auden says, that the signal of a sacred encounter is an experience of awe of some kind, of sacred awe. And our dreams allow us to have these experiences.
Wow. Rodger, we have another caller. I'm excited to tell you.
How cool.
Oh, yes, very cool. We have Maureen on the air. Hello, Maureen.
Hi.
Hi, you're coming in loud and clear. Where are you calling from?
I'm in Northern California.
Okay. All right. Well, thanks so much for calling. Is there a dream you'd like to share or a question for me or Rodger?
I have a dream.
Okay.
That's been it's been pretty strong for me. So I'm in a house near a marina, and I'm staying there, and I'm waiting for this man that I'm dating. His name is Jeff, to come over and see me. And he doesn't live in this town anymore because I'm waiting at this house. It's not my house. And he sent me a picture of this bridge that he's going to cross to meet him. Actually, it was a picture of two bridges. One was cement, and another was a blue wooden bridge. And I go out in the rain, and I'm standing with the pictures, looking for the bridges, waiting for him to come, but I don't know where he's coming from because he didn't tell me. And I just want to be alone with him and talk with him. And so he finally comes in, and he comes in the house, and we just lay down on the bed. We're just laying there next to each other. And I just want to talk to him. And then right when I feel like it's quiet and I can have a conversation with him, the door blasts open and my niece comes in, and she throws a bike on the bed right on top of us. And I yell, "We are on this bed. Get out of here. Get out of here." And she said, "I'm sorry, I didn't see you." And then my beautiful nephew comes in. He's 3 years old. He's the love of my life. And he comes in, and I yell at him, "Get out of here, get out of here." And can't you see I want privacy? Can't you see I just want to be alone? Everyone is showing up with no regard to what I need. And I feel like very angry and frustrated. And so what I'm left with is, that's what I'm left with, just feeling angry and frustrated and not regarded. And,
Oh, thank you. Thank you, Maureen.
So, yeah.
Yeah, that's great. Thanks so much. Well, Katherine, do you want to go first?
This is your show, Rodger.
Oh no, it's your show. Okay.
God.
I'm happy. Yeah, you're the boss here. You're the boss of me. So I think I'm probably better off with that than me being the boss of me at this point. So look, here's my question, Maureen. It's so nice to hear from you. The feeling in the beginning where you're getting these instructions from this fellow Jeff about the different bridges where you're supposed to wait for him. How does that feel to you? Seriously. It's really sad because I'm pretty much at his disposal. Like, you know, instead of just telling me I'm coming at this time and I'm going to walk across the cement bridge. Yeah, that word disposal. I mean, just feeling like that's what we do with trash. You know, that's a really terrible word, isn't it? I feel you. So this is one of those. Would you say that's has some relation to waking life, that there's some sense sometimes with this person of like that, of being at his disposal?
Yes. Yes. I've been
Okay.
trying for like 6 months, and I never know when he's going to come, or he doesn't ever say
Right.
yes or when, and then all of a sudden he'll either
Right.
show up or he won't. And I wait a lot.
Right.
I wait.
Right. So the two bridges, one's you don't even know which bridge.
I don't even know.
You're really, you're really being boxed in and controlled at a distance, with this sort of plan that he's hatched, huh? That sounds hard. It sounds really hard. Now, you mentioned there's another moment. The first one is great. I mean, your niece. Now, what are your, if you could say, I don't know if you want to share that, but it sounds like you really love this person, yes?
I love this person.
Yes, your niece.
Yes, she's like one of the main people in my life. She's my brother's daughter. She's like my best friend, and Louie's my best friend, and I'm basically kicking them out of the house and telling them to go away.
Right. Well, right, and you talked about the little boy too. So first she comes in and she kind of makes a statement. So we have to look at this, because this is where people say, "Oh, dreams are bizarre stories." No. Yeah, in waking life it would be bizarre for her to throw a bike on the bed, but we can feel that image, right? What does that feel like, that moment? It's kind of amazing.
Well, it was, it hurts, and it shocked me. And I was jarred out of my, dreamy, I'm going to lay down with this guy and talk to him state, and I was just jarred right out of it.
Right. Well, I think she's being pretty demonstrative and forceful and strong, right? She's like definitely giving you, a message. Almost like a wake-up call. You hear a harsh alarm. It's like, what are you doing, Maureen? What the hell?
Yes.
See, this is where, you could get into, what does a bicycle symbolize? Nah, she threw a bike on the bed. That's pretty clear,
Yes.
It's like, get out of this thing, But unfortunately, it seems like you get ticked off at her, this beautiful niece that you love. Is that true? In the dream, you do.
Yes, I do. I'm mad at her. I'm mad at Louie. I'm stubborn, and I don't want to hear that she's trying to help me, which she has been trying for months.
Right. So feeling that right now, the anger you had at the little boy and the anger you had at her, what comes up for you now when you can feel that moment? What do you feel about it?
I feel a lot of remorse, and that was the pain of the dream. The feeling of the dream was this remorse all the way around, waiting for somebody who I don't know when he's going to show up, and then the people who do show up, I kick them out of my life.
Right. So beautiful. So the pain, here's where we can see that feeling the pain for you is actually medicinal, because it teaches you this is a painful situation with this fella, and it's painful to turn away the people you love. Those are two parts that are both painful to you, and there's a great learning in that, isn't there? I mean, did that dream, I don't know, sounds like you kind of worked with it a bit. Has that changed anything?
Yes, I worked with it for a couple of weeks. Well, the feeling that I had in the dream was displaced. So I wasn't even in my home. I was in some home I didn't even know. So my feeling with the dreams is when I feel displaced, I'm not home in my heart. And and I have I have been with Courtney and Louie since then. And my love for them has quadrupled. My appreciation of being with people that I love, not and feeling home, not in a displaced, strange house, waiting for a strange man to come across the bridge I don't know. Yeah, that all is the antithesis
what I'm learning
in my own.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
That's it. Yeah.
I'm sorry. I mean, what I'm learning from your dream is that we want love. We need love, but sometimes we have to notice where the love is already, instead of getting caught up into the romantic. Of course, it'd be great to meet the right person, become a partner, whatever. But we shouldn't turn away from the love that's already in our lives. cultivate that more. That's what I'm hearing you say.
Yes, and I have I've made a U-turn since that dream when I realized that, So,
right.
Yeah, it's been very powerful because I think the things that I can't feel in waking life sometimes because they're just too painful, they just are this incredible play in the dream that's like acted out for me with all the characters in a bad drama that I don't want to be.
Right.
Thank you. Oh, my goodness, Maureen, thank you. This is wonderful. Thanks so much.
Thank you, Maureen. It's really good to hear you.
Thank you, Rodger.
You're right.
Thank you.
Okay.
All right.
You're welcome. Thank you.
So, Rodger, we are in our last few minutes. I wonder if you could tell folks how to get in touch with you, and then there's about a minute or so for your final thoughts.
Sure. Well, it's easy to get in touch with me. Just I'm at Kamenetz@gmail.com, or it might be easier to remember dreamtiger@gmail.com. Just the word dream and tiger together. They can drop me a line. I have my website, Kamenetz.com, which people can't spell, but it's KAMENETZ.com. A lot of information about all my work. And please visit the Natural Dream, thenaturaldream.com, for just all kinds of wonderful teachers and teachings. So, yeah.
Fabulous. Any last-minute thoughts and encouragements for our listeners?
Well, I think we just heard from Maureen and really also from Kat how our dreams awaken us to our capacity to feel more deeply, and that's why I think it's worth working with them. Not understanding is important, but what does it symbolize? What does it mean as a usual approach? But I think just bringing them to life and bringing them into your life, taking them seriously by rehearsing and practicing them, feeling them day after day with gratitude. That's kind of sums it all up, the whole show, I guess, from the beginning to the end. I hope it does.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Rodger. It's been a pleasure to talk to you today.
It's been so great to catch up with you, Katherine, and may we meet again. Thank you so much.
I hope so. Take care now.
Okay, bye-bye.
Bye. So next week, our guest on the Dream Journal will be Jane Carlton, who assures us that your dreams have answers. She's a gemologist and a dream specialist. You can tune in, listen to the live broadcast Saturday at 10 a.m., or catch the podcast replay, which will be released, as always, on the Monday following the show. I am Katherine Bell, and this has been the Dream Journal. Thanks for listening. You can find out about my own dream coaching practice at experientialdreamwork.com. Email me at Katherine@ksqd.org. That's KATHERINE@ksqd.org. Please contact me so we can talk about dreams and so I can let you know about my upcoming dream offerings. I always have groups and workshops happening on Zoom. The Dream Journal is produced at the studios of KSQD in Santa Cruz. Archives and 24/7 live stream at ksqd.org. Remember to subscribe, rate, and review. I'd like to thank Rick Kleffel, engineer and music creator. You can find the ambient music at pandemia.com. Phones today was Eric Nelson and Eva Miladies on audio editing. Intro music is Water Over Stones, and this beautiful outro music is called Everything. They're both created by Mood Science. Join me again next Saturday at 10. And tomorrow morning, when you wake up, take a minute to write down your dream and bring it to the next Dream Journal.
Knows that so much is wrong, but much more is right. We see in the darkness by shine.